Hosiery Stories. By J.C. Menapace. November 17, 2019. He planned on taking a job in among 40 other American subcontractors affiliated with the Emirates company's Big Skills Inauguration Project, BSIP. His objective: leave his wife behind to go to Abu Dhabi to work as a task analyst. Unfortunately, his aches and pains experienced due to early middle-age joints and muscles problems continually avoided out of vanity got him into trouble. He flunked the physical examination. So he became a traveling salesman. Over the years his drinking binges grew to such unmanageable proportions that no airport's below standards beverage bar satisfied his gourmet tastes. In a boozer's typically convoluted way, he then felt inexplicably deeply rooted in the scientific community's condemnation of pollution of the atmosphere. His knowledge of the Antarctic ice sheets melting drove him into a state of deep depression. The autumn of his life upon him, he stood drunk in an alleyway in London, relieving himself on a utility pole smelling of creosote. Such was the fate of this one-time professional, now working out of his suitcase as an itinerant. For him, convictions were little more than incarcerated beliefs, perhaps even the bad habits that he experienced a hard time breaking. It unnerved him knowing that he had lost the one woman who to his mind had been the so-called right one for him. His travels overseas left their marriage broken up like a wooden ship caught in a typhoon and dashed against a rocky shore. In a feeble effort to escape loneliness, he visited and fell in love with the Tyrol of northern Italy, where the double whammy of being a divorced middle-aged guy still not found his place in the sun hit him like a baseball bat cracked across his forehead by a home run hitter. Next he traveled to Greece. There he fell in love with a stunning beauty with eyes like large black olives. Their personal relationship went nowhere fast, as his main interest in her was her lovely legs in nylon stockings. Following this latest disaster, he hooked up with a redhead working as a secretary for a British company in Israel, a woman with what he termed ballerina legs, especially when she wore nylon stockings. He proclaimed her the love of his life. As his poor luck had it, however, his love for her when in her nylons made her heart's top 40 hits list, but alike unto the flame of a match caught in the wind, it went out forever. For several months he howled what he called the soul house blues. "It's me calling," was how he usually addressed her whenever he telephoned her ever so obsessively in hope of them getting back together. Each time she'd told him the same thing: all journeys come to an end. She no longer was in his life. Traipsing throughout foreign country after foreign country, he felt like a melancholy pollywog floundering in some hellishly forbidding trap. In time he'd returned to the United States. In Oklahoma City he made the acquaintance of an A#1 cupcake, a go-go dancer with the shapely body of a Venus, the brain of a bumblebee, and a single pair of pink undershorts that matched her frayed bra. These were the only clothes she owned when she'd moved in with him, before buying herself a few dozen pairs of nylon stockings. Ogling her when she wore her nylons, he quickly forgot all about missing any of the other women he'd once known and admired because of their hosiery. He supported him and her as the driver of a delivery route for a company that processed rolls of celluloid film for people's cameras. During his days off he and she made delicious love. One time on a windowsill 7 stories above their hotel apartment's parking lot. Another time atop their refrigerator. Still another time during their fluky and outrageous flight in a single-engine fixed-wing aircraft he'd rented for the sake of them entering the ranks of the vaunted Mile High Club. They crashed. She died. He survived. What he remembered about her was her nylon stockings. "Say you'll never tell," he later would ask after revealing his dark secret about his nylon stocking fetish to whomever he'd bored silly at some beverage bar. When he finally leveled about it for a woman who wore knee socks, she'd said she found his cockamamie hosiery stories totally unbelievable. Nevertheless, they'd bonded. A homemaker, freshly baked sweetbread came daily via her cooking expertise. Knowing better than to move in with each other, however, they'd never cohabitated, thereby enjoying blissful happiness while living apart from each other for 30 years.